I live in Southwest Virginia, not far from the Appalachian Mountains. These mountains run through 13 states, and there are a few regulations for safety that deal with things like campfires and wildlife. And then there are the unwritten rules to deal with some of the more darker things you may come across while hiking. The Appalachia were indigenous people who lived in Florida until the early 18th century. Some think the word Appalachia may come from the Hitchiti tribe, which is a term for people on the other side, or the Choctaw word meaning a helper. Then the Spanish show up, some battles happen, and some of the tribes were enslaved. Surviving tribe members moved into other parts of the U.S., including the mountains. And as early immigration happened, many Scottish and Irish people also migrated to those mountains. In 1839, Washington Irving proposed to rename the United States Alleghania, or Appalachia, in place of America. Edgar Allan Poe considered Appalachia a better name than America because it defined the United States as separate from the rest of the Americas. Poe's popularity didn't grow until after his death, so the name change was never considered seriously. There's one unwritten rule for hiking those mountains that says to be polite but wary of the other hikers, especially on more isolated stretches. Over the years, at least 13 murders and quite a few disappearances have taken place on the trails. A few of them were, in 1996, 2 women were found murdered in a Virginian section of the trails. Their hands were bound and their throats cut. The case remained unsolved for nearly 3 decades until the FBI announced in 2024 that a man responsible had been identified through DNA evidence as Walter Leo Jackson, a serial offender who had died in prison in 2018. In 2007 and 2008, 4 hikers were killed by Gary Michael Hilton, a drifter who is suspected of even more murders and now serving a life sentence. In 1990, a couple were murdered by Paul David Cruz at a trail shelter in Pennsylvania. Cruz, a fugitive from Florida, was arrested after other hikers reported his strange behavior. He died in prison. An unsolved triple murder in the North Carolina mountains happened in 1966. 2 men and 1 woman were beaten and stabbed. Their bodies were found lying in a semicircle with objects placed on their bodies. Circumstantial evidence linked their murders to a convicted murderer, Edward Thompson, who died in prison in 1989. The 2 Harper brothers may be the first documented serial killers in the United States from the late 18th century. A posse finally caught up with them in Kentucky and killed one brother with a tomahawk, and the other had his head cut off and placed on a spike at a crossroads that is known as Harper's Head Road in Kentucky. Then there are the unexplained stories over the years told about what's going on deep in those mountains. Like first reported in 1966 around the Point Pleasant, West Virginia area, the Mothman, a 7-foot-tall bat-like creature with a large wingspan and glowing red eyes whose appearance precedes disasters. Or the Flatwoods Monster, first reported in 1952 after a bright light crossed the night sky. Investigators now suggest the light was a meteor and the creature was a barn owl perched on a tree with shadows making it appear to be a large humanoid. Locals who have seen the creature say otherwise. The Boojum is a North Carolina mountain legend of a Bigfoot-like creature that is said to inhabit the Balsam Mountains of Haywood County. According to folklore, this tall, shaggy, and mysterious beast has 2 main loves: precious gemstones and pretty girls, which is sort of creepy in a different way. In North Carolina, the Raven Mocker is a malevolent spiritual being from Cherokee mythology that steals the life force from the sick and dying to prolong its own existence. It often appears as a fiery shape flying through the night, or sometimes as a gaunt human-like form with raven feathers and claws. The Raven Mocker causes its victims to appear to be struggling for breath until death, after which it is said to remove and consume the heart. An estimated 6 or more people go missing on the Appalachian Trail each year. One section of the trail near Bluff Mountain in Virginia is said to be one of the most haunted trails in the United States. A 4-year-old boy named Oddie Klein Powell disappeared there in 1891 and was later found dead on the mountain. Hikers have reported experiencing strange phenomena, such as a sense of presence, chills, and disembodied whispers, particularly around the area where his body was found. 66-year-old Geraldine Largay went missing in 2013 and was found dead in 2015. She had left the trail to go to the bathroom and became lost. During the 26 days before she died, she kept a journal. She tried to send text messages for help, though they did not go through. Her remains were discovered by a logger in a remote area of Maine. Her death was the result of starvation and exposure. People wonder how so many can get lost by stepping off the trail to use a bathroom or take a picture or just take a snack break. Some of the unwritten rules are: don't whistle while hiking in those mountains because it can attract evil spirits, witches, or let other less supernatural predators know that you're in their hunting area. While hiking, if you hear your name called, folklore suggests you don't respond and just keep walking. Some stories say that a malicious entity is trying to get your attention, and responding will invite danger. Also, don't look too hard into the woods. It's believed that staring too intently can cause strange feelings or hallucinations, and something may be trying to lure you to them. So if you're planning a trip out to the Appalachian Mountains and you're a little worried about what may happen to you, remember to follow the rules, both written and unwritten, and to keep in mind that the murder and crime rate there is actually lower than the national average. The greatest risk to your health in those mountains is contracting a tick-borne disease. So also remember to bring tick repellent. Good night.
Pooh.